The person has
this person has
aluminum.
Aluminium.
It's like a fucking...
Do you guys say aluminium or do you say
No,
aluminum?
no.
Wait, was that
No,
was that a dinosaur?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Hey.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that could just be. That's not
Why-
necessarily a dinosaur, is it? It could be just a giant animal.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
Presumably, it's a dinosaur relative to this planet, but like, it's not like an Earth dinosaur.
Imagine
so we
space
can't go that
dinosaurs.
I am. That sounds cool.
I mean, I guess that's what Horizon Zero Dawn is.
Here we go. Well, robot dinosaurs.
I guess.
There's aliens in this game you call space dinosaurs.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
I hate this already. Oh, come on. He's got...
So you also explode. Oh.
What a
This
fight.
whole thing is
Well-
like a greatest hits of things I don't particularly care for in Bethesda games. To
Yeah.
a shocking extent.
So what archetype of Bethesda was that specifically?
Oh, just awkward enemy who's got a constant effect, chameleon or invisibility enchantment, who's just kind of like running around fighting you in with their third-person model looking slightly awkward.
I mean, I can't deny that that's a very Bethesda thing.
It's extremely Bethesda, and it's so specific.
Can we just leave from here, or do we have to walk out?
I think you have to walk out. I don't think you can... Like, if you hit X to set course, can you... Okay, jump, yeah. Okay,
Oh
never mind.
my god!
A convenience thing in this game is amazing.
Alright,
Somebody's hailing us.
so here's a cool idea. Well, if you have, like, public domain books on your player's ship, and, like, while you're doing a loading screens, you can just, like, read a couple pages, and every time you finish a chapter, you can discuss it with an NPC.
Stack of my old physics books. Honestly, I'd rather she read some newer ones from Noel.
I'll talk to Cora.
Okay.
She knows she has to ask.
She's a smart kid.
I mean, terramorphs do sound cool, though.
So I guess we have to go... Or wait. No.
What's our current quest?
Further into the unknown.
Which
Yeah,
is...
so that's the...
Go to
Curie.
Curie.
Okay.
This isn't Curie?
But we've got a marker on it.
That's
Oh
where
no,
we
that's
are.
where we are. Okay. Yeah, just make all the icons blue. Where's Curie? Curie's down there. Okay, so we have to go here to jump.
A really smart kid.
And finally we encounter what I was talking about, where this is where the game softly starts encouraging you to do spaceship stuff, because we have to make 2 jumps to get there, and it's annoying, and you can make that go away if you build or buy a better ship.
Shocking to me that, like, this is the point where the game's like, hey, you know, maybe look at this menu. How do you even build new ships? Like, what the...
I can't remember. I imagine it's back on the home world where you have to go do that.
Oh.
Did we yeah, we're jumping out of here, though. We're not landing here.
Yeah, but that's neat.
Like, I'm trying to imagine how obnoxious this game would be if you did have to, like, land, mine resources, explore this planet, and move on.
Right.
Whole new set of stars.
And I can see how that would be annoying, but I can also see how that makes this game much more epic in scope and explains why there's so many planets, even though 80% of them don't have anything to do with the story. Right? Because the idea would be, if you didn't invest in your spaceship, you actually have to go get a bunch of fuel.
Yeah.
Landing Inside is good to go.
Hey, look, we're landing right next to another another base loaded with people to shoot.
Are they ecliptic again?
Who knows? The factions make no sense.
Bringing the comforts of our own environments with us.
Abandoned Muibridge Pharmaceuticals Lab. Why aren't these places just like sometimes actually abandoned? Like what do these fuckers need here?
They're spacer punks. They are here to do graffiti or something? I don't know.
Where'd the other guy go?
He's on the roof.
No, there was another guy. I think he went in the airlock. Is that what I was doing? Sneaking up on you? Oh, bye. Making it so that the enemies can use jump packs is just the funniest fucking decision that they made in this game, because it just makes it look ridiculous. Oh, am I out of grant? No. Didn't fucking...
So, okay, here's an interesting thought. How do you think grenades should be handled in a game that has multiple gravities?
I mean, also in a game where, like, in a setting where explosions probably do not play well with, like, most of the shit you're dealing with. Like, hey, what if we just blew a hole in the habitat, you know?
I don't think I've ever really seen grenades feel good in the game ever. So I don't know.
Uh-oh. I am out of med packs, but I think I have trauma packs, which are different.
Yeah, they impact trauma, they don't do health.
Oh.
Honestly, I think just going full demo, man, would be the best thing to do. Just like, you got pills that have trajectories based on, like, kind of like preset trajectories that are then modified by your environment, and then you've got stickies.
No, the baguette!
I will say the combat in this game does not feel particularly like they were asking how to do combat in space. It does just feel like... It feels weirdly like they had existing props that they needed to work with.
Yeah.
We're also running into the problem I've been running into a lot playing the game is if you are out of health packs, there's not a great system for getting more other than literally leaving the planet you're on, traveling to another planet, and buying health packs, and then coming back.
Jeez.
Like there are some things you can do. You could go take a nap in your ship, but that doesn't really help you in combat.
Oh, I love shooting people in the head 18 times before they die.
That was recorded, Josh.
No, she noticed.
I mean, she's level 38.
Why did the... Yeah, I know. We got him.
What level are we?
13.
Well, right?
Well, jeez. Find a bed, take a nap, wake up and kill more people. That's how this video game works.
I have a personal question for each of you.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So, if you're gonna, like, tell us stories about space, if you had some sort of, like, creative oversight of a project, maybe not on the same scale as Starfield, maybe you don't have to go in with that limitation that developers had, but, like, if there's something about making a science fiction space property that, like, energizes you, or that you resonate with, or something that you would, like, want room to play around with, like, what would that look like to you? I guess let's start with Alex.
Oh god, I have to go first. Well, it definitely wouldn't be this, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is the most uninteresting part of space to me, is just, like, the realism, the modernism of it all. Like, to me, like, sci-fi is best when there's like a semblance of realism and like the characters are human, but like the scenarios themselves are very exotic and foreign and interesting and like ideally progressive in some ways because
Oh, okay, that is
it's
healing
like that
us.
hopeful perspective.
Right, right.
So like stories about like meeting new cultures and new people from different planets, alien species, like I guess it's like the Star Trek stuff, right? Like and we really don't get that a lot in games, right? Because it doesn't really lend
No.
itself to like these kind of stories, but you know.
Even the Star Trek games tend not to be very much like that.
No, it's always about ship combat or like the MMO is just shooting people and stuff and
Yeah. Sorry, what was the
Chris, how about
exact
you?
wording in the question,
Don't-
Ruskarn?
I had too many wording in the question.
Can you
I guess
repeat a summary of it? Because I was
Yes,
also
like,
I was in the middle of...
I mean, I went all over the place, but it's basically just like, what would you be excited to make about space that you would want to put
Yeah.
in an artistic product somebody else would consume at some point? Like, what would actually make you get excited about about space, and not just have it be like, I guess we're doing this instead of dungeons now.
I mean, if we're not talking about just like a straight up like, you know, a game about shooting things in space, you know, like the space exploration aspect is cool, but on the other hand, like video games are just kind of stuck in this place where at the very least if you're doing something that's no, give me that. At the very least if you're doing something that's a AAA game, it has to have shooting stuff in it. It has to have combat. Like, you don't do games that don't have What the fuck, Barrett? What the... Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He missed.
now we're so paranoid about Barrett just like evaporating into thin air.
Barrett is creepy Watson.
Yes, exactly.
Our
Why is it-
troubled, creepy husbando Barrett.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It wouldn't be this, but I guess I'm a bit jaded at this point as to like the limitations of what people think of when they say, you know, a AAA game or a Bethesda game. That it kind of feels like we're all just kind of stuck doing this shit over and over again.
Does it not feel a little bit like this game itself is kind of jaded?
Yeah. Like, hey, we did the thing. Why is the... Why not just make the door a fucking switch? Why do I have to go to the fucking the computer interface just to hit open door? What the fuck?
There's so many exotic gameplay loops for opening doors in this game. I hope we never run out of them.
Hell?
Cave, huh? Maybe they used it.
Chris, did you have a go at it?
Radiation or
No, but I kind of would mostly echo Josh's sentiment, I think. I mean, like, what I would like... ultimately, what would excite me is a well-crafted narrative that has something to say about people or humans or space. Because gameplay-wise, if you're talking about space, it basically boils down to either something like this, where it's just a sci-fi-themed shooty game, or a game about exploration, like No Man's Sky. But it's difficult to make a game about nothing but exploration. You either end up having to do bespoke worlds, which could be full of details and interesting things to find, but that's sort of the antithesis of space. You don't want a densely populated, very intimate, you want something big and epic, which is why No Man's Sky is procedural. And exploring procedural stuff, like you ran into in No Man's Sky, is occasionally boring. You start seeing the limits of the algorithm very quickly. And then there's stuff like, you know, establishing a facility somewhere in space, which is kind of a fun mechanic set, but then that's just a city builder. It's just SimCity, and it's also got slight colonialist undertones. So, like, I'm not super excited by that either. So, I don't know what mechanic set I'd be looking for in a space game, but I do know that, like, I would want an idea rooted in talking about humans in a narrative way, and then find some mechanics to explore that.
I mean, in a way, if I was going to average out what the three of you said, I think RimWorld is almost the closest thing.
Oh god.
I do like RimWorld.
Well, one thing I did forget is Outer Wilds, which is a space game that has no shooting in it and has like a very strong narrative element. That is not also about base building.
Yeah, that actually sounds very close. It's narrative driven, but has mechanics that are about exploration and learning about the universe and understanding. No, that's the space game I want to make. There, good job.
Yeah,
It
is a kind of a unconventional. Like you don't think of it as a space game, I guess first, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're going to if we're not talking about what could you do with like a AAA game? We're not talking about like the expectations of that. Like there's a lot of indie games that are space related that I like. Basically everything that Gareth Damian Martin does. There's why can't I remember the name of the goddamn you're a shell on a space station.
What?
Citizen
and it's that
Sleeper?
RPG
Sleeper
about Citizen Sleeper.
Oh,
and his
right.
game prior to that, In Other Waters, which is just a game about exploring this underwater ecosystem of this planet and figuring out like what happened on it. I have an affliction. Oh no, lung damage. Oh no, you guys. What?
Oh, what do you mean?
Prognosis is poor.
This is going to be real obnoxious.
Can I heal that? Okay. You currently have an item.
This is why they made this way less common. I feel like at some point all these things were way more prevalent. Lung damage?
These sounds like things that they tested and then everyone hated, so they just took them out. Like, no one wanted to do the resource gathering, no one wanted to do the management of status ailments.
Yeah, and I mean, for everything that we complain about how much this is just Skyrim in space, like the way that it sounds like these mechanics worked when they were actually like turned on at full strength sounds incredibly tedious and obnoxious. But yeah, there are a lot of indie space games and space related games that I like.
Well, I don't mean to tune my own horn, but Astronauts is a very interesting game. That is made by the Neo Scavenger dev, and the devs tout it as like a Firefly simulator, where you're like, it's a very like Blade Runner, Firefly-esque vision of the future that's very like rundown and like grimy and stuff. And it is like fully simulating like what it's like to be a ship captain and like have your crew, and there's a whole bunch, you get to know them, and they have like personality traits and like tags and stuff, so like the character stuff is like really in depth. I mean, the whole thing about it is in depth because you're like, it's like train simulator but space, where you're like flying the ship and pressing all the buttons and everything is like diegetic menus and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the name of the game again?
It's called Astronauts. It's made by Blue Bottle.
Oh.
There's no G. That's, I always misspell it. It's Astra, not Nauts. Yeah. Still in early access, still working out the kinks. We're trying to work with them to get the new player experience like all squared away. I couldn't finish the tutorial when I played it, and yeah, so.
Find anything worth selling?
It's always the kind of the
but I'm also not
these kinds of heartbreaker passion project.
Yeah, you have to like really like love that genre. You have to like really spend some time with it, and like I don't get paid to do that. So
So again, here's the cutlass, but it does less damage.
I'm not impressed. I'm waiting to be impressed.
Anyway.
Is it there because they have space pirates and somebody thought it would be clever or cute to have a cutlass on a space pirate?
I mean, it's very funny that it's branded United Colonies, so it's like the space cops have the cutlasses.
Okay, so here's how I'm coming at it, right? Like, the cutlass as a form factor, like, emerged for a certain era of naval warfare just because, like, it was the best designed for that kind of combat. So sometimes, like, when you try to hearken to that era, you're just, like, trying to reinvent those concepts into whatever fictional space sci-fi paradigm exists. And the obvious thing for space combat is some kind of weapon that breaches the suit would be effective
Oh my
in close
God!
quarters.
What the fuck? Sorry about that, Andrea. You good?
No problem.
Never would I have imagined
So it's like,
jeez.
like these starboard.
If you've got a gun, that could go off and kill you and the guy next to you, and possibly the entire crew.
Questions.
If you've got a cutlass, unless you're like swinging it towards another like life support system
Suppose this proves
at
that
high
it
speed,
exists.
it's probably not going to do any serious harm.
Regardless of how impossible they may have seemed before now.
And maybe, like, you know, if you're thinking about stuff in terms of it being, like, crush resistant and not, like, puncture or slashing resistant for space, I could see that being a thing, too. But, like...
Okay, but if we're gonna get into that, let's like talk about the standard of no guns in space, which is Dune, where if you shoot the gun, it creates a nuke. But their melee weapons in the Dune universe are very interesting and very like aesthetically pleasing and spacey and meaningful. And this is just like a regular knife.
Yeah.
And there's like a style of combat that goes with that. It's like, you know, like you think about like melee combat in space and you're like I'm surprised there's no like gravity elements to this game. Has there been moments where like the gravity changes and like you're floating around or like there's like the physics change?
In the artifact rooms, but like it's not, or not the artifact rooms, in the space temples, but like that's it. And it's like, it's never been used in like a combat situation or even really for a puzzle beyond like fly through the glowing bits.
Like that's something like, I don't know why my brain goes to control
Why
first,
is it
but
in
control
there all the time.
Oh no, you broke her.
Now we're just doing the shit we do in
She'll be
Lethal
fine,
Company.
probably.
God damn it.
Morgan. I swear she must have radar.
What do you mean?
I feel like this
Every
is
single time
summing
I
up
make a
everything
mistake.
I've said this episode.
Sorry,
She's there.
we're a bit over time now. Do we have any closing thoughts?
I made a mistake.
Can you check real quick what the quests say? Do we have to go activate these powers, or is it time to go back? Because I'm real anxious to get back to the base when it tells us to go back to the base.
Where's our... Add artifacts to the
All
collection.
right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's leave off there.
Now I feel better.
Okay.
next time.
I guess my parting thought is that, in a way, it feels like this vision of space exploration is gone, and there's nothing to replace it particularly.
Yeah.
It's like the Epcot Center, where it's like it used to be all about the future, and they've realized that there is no future, so we have to rebrand to be about stories.
Ugh, don't even
Yeah.
get me started.
And on that happy note.
She's still vibrating.
It really doesn't feel like anybody believes this. Like,
Oh no.
Believes what?
Just like the whole world, like anybody in it. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like the writers ever got themselves to a place where any of this felt real.
Which is shocking compared to, like, you know, you look back at Oblivion and even Skyrim, and they're, like, trying so hard to make it feel like these are actual beings that exist in this space, and then you get to this game, and it's like, fuck it.
Everything, there's just like a spiritual emptiness.
I mean, I'm not saying they succeeded, especially in Oblivion, but, like, you know, they were trying, man.
Oblivion has many memorable moments and characters.
And they were so strapped for ideas, they brought at least one of them back for this game, just straight out exported directly from Oblivion, which was the Adoring Fan.
Oh, interesting.
Same voice actor.
Really? Okay, that's kind of nice though, because a little mod.
Yeah. Yeah.